everybody. Today is August 17th, 2024. We are across the pitch post-game show. I was joined by two people, but Todd and Jose are no longer on the screen. There's Jose, and there's Todd. There.
It was an entrance, Mike. It was an entrance that you just completely butchered, but we're here.
I was looking down at my phone. I'm like, where did they go?
We're still at Subaru Park, everybody.
Look at Mark Meadows and his crew cutting the grass. You guys can definitely see that, right?
If anything, Mike, we're giving the people what they want, which is a behind-the-scenes look at Subaru Park. What happens after the nets come down? What happens after the players go off? And what happens after Philadelphia beats Mazatlan in penalty kicks?
Listen, I wish you had prepared me a little bit before the big.
What a fucking intro!
I know, this is great. How do we sound, by the way?
Todd, you sound better because of your microphone. But Jose,
I mean, we can hand it off.
Oh, you could do the hand. Jose, say something real quick.
Hello.
Yeah, Todd's mic is better. It's no offense, Jose. You should
okay.
hand.
Too windy.
You should hand it off, Todd, when we switch.
Yeah, we're handed off.
We'll do first of all. We got the little Jose Martinez kit in honor of tonight's, one of his heroes. We got Jose Martinez jersey. So anyway, as we sort through these technical difficulties and weird things with the wind, the Union survived in penalty kicks tonight against Mazatlan. A thrilling match. Todd, I'll go to you first. Thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I mean, it was an emotional game. I feel like everybody knew coming into this game that this was more than likely going to be Jose Martinez's last game. Jim Curtin confirms it in his press conference and says that Jose Martinez has played his last game at Subaru Park. I'd be shocked if he plays on Wednesday. I mean, it seems like this is it. I know we asked Mikel Ua after the game, and Mikel wouldn't go as far as confirming it was Jose's last game, but from what Jim Curtin said, what he said prior to this game, all in all, it does seem like this was Jose Martinez's last game before he heads off to Brazilian side Corinthians. And so I think the fans just knew that coming into this game is going to be emotional. Nobody expected Jose Martinez to be on the bench, and long and behold, there he was on the bench, comes in towards the end of the game, gets in for penalty kicks, and what a thunderbolt of a strike by Jose Martinez. But the word I would use is emotional because of everything surrounding Jose Martinez and just the way that this game was refereed, Ty Baribo getting sent off, 2 yellow cards, very emotional.
Absolutely. Jose, I saw your tweet that you posted. I'm going to read it before I send it to you. Actually, I can't find it right now, so you go ahead and tell me. Oh, wait, here you go. It said, Jose is one of a kind. There won't be another Jose Martinez here at the Union. He is not replaceable. This club means a lot to him, and he means a lot to me. That was Curtin's words after the match. What are your thoughts on what Curtin said, and what are your thoughts on Jose Martinez as well?
Listen, I don't know that I have seen Jim Curtin this emotional since the New York Red Bulls sort of conversation, right, where he was very against everything that Red Bulls was doing last League's Cup in terms of talking shit and whatever, especially bench players that were getting involved. So this was a pretty emotional Jim Curtin, which was nice to see, and obviously, if you were able to be there live or watch the YouTube recording that the Union put out during the town hall, Jim Curtin also got emotional talking about Julian Carranza and Jose Martinez. So this was a continuation of that sentiment in terms of, the farewell. And much like Todd mentioned, a big surprise that he was even on the roster for tonight. And that's okay. It was certainly a night to remember for him, a night to remember for his teammates, talking to Jack McGlynn, Andre Blake. They all extremely positive about him, about his move. They understand that moving from the Union to an institution, I wouldn't even say a team, it's almost an institution, Corinthians, is an incredible jump for any one player, never mind someone like Jose, who came from a very, very small side and Zulia FC out of Venezuela. So to see that pathway that he's taking, even at his age, is unbelievable. And, selfishly, as someone who maybe got the last final words out of Jose Martinez from the PR side or whatever you got to call his media. It's bittersweet, that's for sure. Someone who was always very kind to me, very open, was not afraid to talk, was not afraid to answer questions, even ones that Erica Shear and folks in the PR department probably wouldn't be too happy if I asked. Jose was willing to answer them without a shadow of a doubt and with all integrity and heart put into him. So overall, Todd, I don't know, 75% full, not even a stadium, sounded as soon as Jose went to come in to check in and to come into the game. Place erupted. Never mind the penalty kick shot that I could not believe that was a 50 to 75% Subaru Park. It honestly sounded just like when they won the Eastern Conference title here. It was unbelievable.
And he was the drum striker tonight too, so it's just a full night, a great top to bottom. I know Pallet 12 joins us. I'm so glad I went to the game tonight to see what will probably be his last game with the club. T-Mac also joins us tonight. Let's go. Hard to write a better ending for Jose than Baron and PK on his last kick, which is 100%. It was a great PK. Just absolutely drilled it there. I think when you look back at athletes in Philadelphia, we think Bryce Harper, Allen Iverson, Chase Utley, these players that personify Philadelphia. Jose Martinez personified Philadelphia. And when I was telling people who were not Union fans about the soccer games and the club, I said, guys, you have to watch this team strictly for Jose Martinez alone, because he is just the most beloved Philadelphia style athlete out there. And I think he was that way from day one when he came onto the pitch at LAFC years ago. And tonight, just, kind of owning it there. And look, that Todd, what's going on in the background with you on the field?
Vamos, Mark!
Mark Mello,
Making a
the
live
head
appearance.
keeper here.
So, no, it's okay. It's really
so-
weird seeing you guys out there. Go ahead.
Yes, I mean, for people that can't see our screen, to the right of us, we're watching the stadium workers pick up everybody's trash because, you guys can't take your trash with you when you leave the stadium. So you got to hire people to pick up after you guys. And then, like we said at the beginning, we have Mark Mello and his grounds crew team doing a wonderful job cutting this grass. And, the field that we're looking at, Jose, we got a lot of hate a couple months ago, but it seems like the Union have really turned it around and looks pretty solid. I mean, we've seen it better, but it's definitely a lot better than what it was when this team last played in March. I want to say it was against Seattle, that game that got rained out. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool staying in here and just watching, people doing their jobs, kind of like what Jose and I are doing, just on here talking to you guys, talking to you, Mike, and watching people work. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, very emotional, like I said. And one thing I think we should have brought up is when Jose Martinez was substituted on KSU, they started, "Hey, Jose, F someone up. Hey, Jose, F someone up." And man, I'm sure some of the fans wanted Jose to go out with a red card. But look, I think scoring that penalty kick, I think that was the perfect ending to his Union career, to go out there. And we don't have to bring up what happened in 2022 in the penalty shootout. And
No.
look, I think it's good. We've seen Jose take 2 penalties now in Leagues Cup, bury both penalties, and all in all, a perfect night for him. And yeah, solid crowd, a stadium that wasn't full at all. And these fans knew when to get loud, I would say. Andre Blake makes a huge save here in the second half, and we talk about it all the time. Well, Andre is going to give you at least one huge save every single game. Gives you one tonight, and this place erupted once Andre makes that save. And so you got to give a credit to these fans that showed up tonight, even though it wasn't full. These guys knew when to get loud, and like Jose said, it did give you flashbacks of the Eastern Conference final against New York Red Bulls, against New York City, because at times, man, this place was super duper loud.
Well, it also helps that, Cruz Azul and Mazatlan are 2 different fan bases. There's probably not a whole lot of purple out there, whatever weird color they were wearing tonight, red. Jose, any thoughts on what Todd's mentioned with the crowd, the atmosphere tonight? I know we've all 3 of us have been there super late when it's dead quiet. It's definitely a different feeling. But on television, from watching from my side, it sounded like a full house out there.
No, absolutely right. Todd used the right adjectives, just emotional, loud, whatever you want to use at this point. It was unbelievable. And talking about Andre Blake's save, folks on Twitter, Andrew Wenger, and was it Hope? No, Hope. Yeah, ex-players watching this game on a just very open. Andre Blake is a one-man wrecking crew, and I think us in the press and folks in the stands and sometimes players from afar don't realize just how important he is to this club. It makes you wonder, what would this club look like without him? And we got a glimpse of that during the early stages of the season. So yeah, it was unbelievable to see this place get loud. And what was really interesting was during today's press conference, Jim Curtin mentioned, we did not approach these guys the right way. We did not go at these guys in the beginning. We let them come to us. And it wasn't until the red card that woke up the Philadelphia Union, which is obviously something that's not going to fly against Columbus.
And can we say, when we were on three of us were talking, I think it was a Wednesday night or whatever. We've been on these weird shows like recently. We said when we were talking about the lineup for this coming match, we wanted to have some sort of intensity to start the match quick,
Yep.
get on the board fast, and they just failed to do that. And I was watching, what was it, the first half hour? I'm like, this is not going at all how we would think it was going to go. But I mean, everybody's talking about Blake. Let's talk really briefly about some of the other heroes of this match. Michael Ua, I mean, really just puts the team on his back as soon as the red card. And we talk about Todd. You talked about adversity. Actually, I listened to Todd's recent show on the Free Kick. Great episode, by the way, Todd. I appreciate that. It was a great episode. You mentioned this team's adversity coming back when their backs are against the walls. You get that red card, absolutely this disaster of a red card, and then Michael Ua comes and answers the call there. What were your thoughts on Michael tonight?
Yeah, it was a good performance by Mikel, and I asked him after the game. That's back-to-back games now that he scored, and Jim Curtin mentioned after Cincinnati, that Mikel and him had a talk prior to that game, and they've had 5 or 6 conversations in the past, and it seems like after those conversations, Mikel always finds a way to have a really good performance. And like I said, I mean, that's back-to-back games now that Mikel's had goals in, and I asked him after the game, how do you use those conversations? How do you use this moment to stay consistent? And Mikel said, if I had the answers, then it would be simple. And he said, unfortunately, he doesn't have the answers and he doesn't know everything, which, it's fair play to him, right? For a player to come out and say, I don't know everything, because look, when these guys are getting paid a high bit of money, when, you're somebody like Mikel Ua, the highest paid player on the team, the highest transfer fee paid by the club, maybe it is easy to get an ego and everything and feel like you have the world at your feet. But he comes out and says, I don't know everything. And, he's grateful for Jim Curtin trusting him, being open to having those conversations with him. And, 2 games in a row now, 2 goals for Mikel. And with Todd Rebo going to be suspended for Columbus on Wednesday night, that game is Wednesday night, which means the Union's game on Saturday against Columbus Crew in the MLS regular season, it has been postponed. We don't have a rescheduled date. At least I haven't seen anything yet. And that means that regardless if the Union beat Columbus or not, the third place game will be this Sunday, 8:25. We don't have a time yet, but the Union will be back at Subaru Park. August 25th, yeah. 8:25. That's, August 25th, right?
No, I thought you were saying like a time.
yeah, sorry.
I was going to say, that's a very weird time for a game.
Sorry.
I got it.
Yeah, I saw the 8 and then /25 in my head. So, yeah, August 25th.
Okay.
We don't have a time yet for that, but and we also know too, if the Union beat Columbus, they will host the final here at Subaru Park in Leagues Cup, whether that be against LAFC, Colorado Rapids, Club America. I don't know who's winning that game. Maybe somebody in the comments can tell us, Club America, Colorado, who's winning that game. But we do know that, and that would be interesting too.
Colorado would be interesting, fully knowing the connection between the Union and Colorado, and that of Chris Zitterbart, the new director of scouting here at Philadelphia, who departed Colorado, but the Union are yet to acknowledge outside of Sage Hurley mentioning his name on a random Friday podcast. So
do you think they even knew who he was until you said something?
Probably not. Absolutely not.
It's 0-0 right now, by the way.
0-0. Thank you, Derek.
Thank you.
Yep.
But yeah, just going back to Mikel's performance, he misses that 1v1 right at the start of the half, and I had a feeling that was going to come back and haunt them. I mean, you don't get many great chances like that, and he overcomplicated it. Maybe he got in his head too much, and we see it down here towards the scoreboard. He had no reason to score that goal tonight. I mean, fair play to Jack McGlynn to pick out that pass to him. We've now seen the Union score 3 counter-attack goals in the last 3 games, and this is something that's been lacking with this team this season, something that fans have been asking for. People in the media have been saying, where's the counterattack gone for the Union? Well, now 3 straight games with counterattack goals, and what a strike that was, what a finish that was tonight by Mikel Ua. And to his credit, he was making hard runs. He was getting in behind the back line of Mazatlan tonight. Rewards himself with a goal tonight, but all in all, really, really happy with his performance, and they're going to need a big performance from him Wednesday night against the Crew.
So that's a great segue. And Jose, you might be able to answer this question. So a few people mentioned the ref. Janice says a bunch of clowns. His cards were so weak. Everybody's very upset about everything. But the one question that Maddie Kelkner mentions is, could they try to overturn the suspension on Baribo? Now, it wasn't a straight red. It was 2 yellows that sent him off. I don't know if that makes a difference or not. I don't know how the rules of Leagues Cup are. Jose, take it away.
They could. Jim Curtin alluded to as much, but he was also fairly confident. And Todd, you can, quotes come and go in my head, and I also don't want to misquote him. Jim Curtin was pretty confident that even if the union tried to appeal the events, I'm just going to leave it at that, because what the hell that was, I don't know. It was one of the most bizarre sequences of events that I've ever watched, watching soccer in all 33 years of my life. Jim Curtin's fairly confident that nothing's going to happen. That you're not going to win. This is Jim Curtin. You're not going to win because, again, the only way you could win is if it was a mistake of identity thing, or it was a really big egregious error, which we as press know that was a pretty egregious error in terms of a foul. But when you look at the laws of the game, that don't believe that qualifies as a super egregious mistake. So I think Curtin and company will just brace to face one of the best teams in the continent without Ty Baribo, a man who has been unbelievable over the past month and a half. So they've been in a spot like this before, but it doesn't help considering the streak and form that Ty is in as of late. So fans should just brace to be Baribo less this weekend coming up.
Well, Todd, I have a
this
question.
week. Wednesday.
Wednesday. I have a question for you, Todd, because I think you mentioned on your show how much Ua and Sam are similar players. Do you put those two together up top, or do you think Jim tries to try something different?
Yeah, so I was just checking my phone. One of the many group chats I feel like I'm in. Somebody said, yeah, you got to put Sullivan and Ua up top. And I don't think so. Quinn's not a striker. You go with Sam and Dinneron up there. We haven't seen the pairing of Sam and Mikel yet. I don't believe we have. Well, maybe we have. I don't know. Again, somebody can check me in the comment section. But yeah, I'd go with Sam. I mean,
Val's here. She can't cross check us. Val was at the stadium. She's probably
Val's in the comments. I mean, she might be
great. Awesome. So sorry, Val.
I mean, you have Sam here for a limited amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no guarantee that he signs with you in the off season, and so you want to see what you have. You play Sam and Dinneron. So let's see what him and Mikel have. That's what I would go personally with. I think Quinn Sullivan and
Dono time.
T-Mac, so funny. Quinn Sullivan, Jose said it after the game. It's strange. Why did Quinn Sullivan start this game? Because I thought, in my opinion, he was pretty silent tonight. He had a big impact on Tuesday night. I mean, these games, you said it, Mike. I mean, it's so crazy. Tuesday night against Cincinnati, comes off the bench, gets an assist, gets a goal, and I think ultimately that's a good role for Quinn Sullivan, is coming off the bench, going at tired legs. He had moments tonight where he dribbled well, but a lot of times tonight he gave away the ball poorly, couldn't connect his passes, and to his credit, a lot of players tonight couldn't connect passes. But in my opinion, no way I'm starting Quinn Sullivan up top. I'm going Sam and Mikel.
I mean, you got to think about like just the speed that you have there, the size, the power between the two of those players. It's certainly not something that Columbus would be prepared for, considering, as you guys mentioned, I'm not sure if we've ever had that pairing yet, even for a few minutes so far this season. I don't think we have. Maybe even for a few months. I know that he's only been around for a couple of weeks as that.
Right.
Mandy said, let Lowe be the striker for who wants to be. That's very true. Vince is saying, start Bedoya, bring on Quinn later with Sam Mikel. I agree with that. I think that Bedoya is great off the bench, but I think Quinn's energy is what was needed against Cincinnati. I think you're going to need that again against the Crew. Jose, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree with Todd. I agree with you, Mike, in terms of an Ua Adeniran pairing, and it'll be interesting. I really do believe so. I think the best is yet to come from Sam, though the runway is not very long considering the contract situation ending come December 31st, really. So, and that also sort of puts it in a special and an interesting situation where Sam needs to perform and needs to start scoring goals, because that runway is also a way for him to showcase himself to suitors in Europe, but also suitors within MLS and the Philadelphia Union included. So it'll be really fascinating to see what it looks like once it finally gets there. But Columbus is no joke, though they did have to go to penalties against New York City FC. So if you're looking at that, it is a tournament game. Anything can happen, and probably the best thing that the Union can hope for, considering Ty Baribo being out.
Well, so T-Mac mentions Gazdag as a second striker. Would either of you guys want that? I don't personally think so.
I do not, Todd.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I think we would rather just see a flat out striker pairing. I know the Union and at least in the way I'm seeing it, the Union enjoy seeing Mikel Ua going and tiring the legs of these defenders, and then bringing in someone like Sam to just brute his way into center backs. And the lights are coming off little by little, so we'll continue as long as we can, and it makes sense. But yeah, a Sam and Ua pairing seems like the best idea here.
Well, Derek mentions Danley a bit here, and were you surprised to see Danley on the roster tonight?
No, not surprised at all. I had an inkling that, and this is not official or anything, but I had an idea that the paperwork was going to get done. I don't believe that a team goes ahead and invests that type of money without having some sort of assurance or idea that $1.6 million we're not going to get on the field for a tournament like this. So I think you also got to remember, everybody needs to remember, this is a player that was in the off season before coming into the Union, just like Ty Baribo was that summer when he joined, right? Danley has not had preseason. Danley has had all of, and I'm sure he's been working on his own and trying to keep in shape, but Danley has not had a proper preseason, and all he has practiced with the Union is about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks at this point. So I think Jim Curtin and his staff would have wished that this game was not on Wednesday or whenever it is, and it would have been a Saturday to Saturday, a 7-day stretch. So Danley could get up to speed, not just tactically and mentally, but also physically.
Physically against a Columbus Crew team that has been very good.
Yep.
And it's not just in MLS, but we see CONCACAF. They won the Cup last year, right? If I remember correctly.
Yes, sir.
I mean, Nancy just has that team functioning on the highest levels. Doesn't matter who's on the roster. It's a well-coached, well-organized
It's
squad.
a Ferrari. That's what it is.
It's very much a Ferrari, and so I'm looking back on the last 5 matches. The Union drew against Columbus on the 30th of September in 2023. They beat Columbus 4-1 at the start of last season. Overall, in the last 5 games, they've had 2 draws and 3 Philadelphia Union wins. So the Union have actually fared fairly decently.
And I think they'll face them 3 times from here on out, right? Leagues Cup, and then there's the 24th matchup, and then I think they are the very last game of the season at Subaru, I believe, or away. I can't remember, one of the two.
Yeah, so we have 3 more games total against them. So this is just the first time we get to see him. So Derek says, where will Danley play? I feel like probably Shudler, right?
I think that was the idea before the Jose Martinez transfer, but it'll be interesting, and talking with sources, the team feels good about Jesus Bueno and sort of a pairing there to hold down the 6, whether it's Leon, a Bueno Leon type of, back and forth, and then maybe Danley taking more of an 8 on either side and alleviating Bedoya. And, for as much as he has meant to this team, maybe start thinking about facing him out little by little and let Danley do his thing. And again, talking with folks who have watched him in practice for more than the 15 minutes that, folks get to see in the press. He is very, very fast. He's still maturing. He is young at 24, Danley, 23, 24. Still much to learn, but ultimately a player that has such high promise that, sources were unbelievably happy that he came to Philadelphia, especially when other players were presented to staff members to sort of work through. He was by far the number one.
Well, so let's talk about Bueno. I mean, again, we talked a few days ago about how Leagues Cup has been so important to this club in terms of, 1, you got to see what Bueno had to offer last year, and 2, obviously the Union are getting to form at the right time with Leagues Cup. But we finally got to see Bueno tonight in a very big moment. He comes on, he hits the game-winning penalty kick. Again, he did that last year against Querétaro, if I remember correctly, as well, in Leagues Cup. Now, Todd, I'm going to ask you, Leon Flock was playing tonight. We saw a bit of Bueno. Who do you trust against the Crew on Wednesday?
Leon Flock. No offense to Jose, but Jesus. No offense to Jesus. But yeah, Leon Flock, I mean, he doesn't give you the passing range that Jose Martinez gave you, and we saw that tonight. I mean, I said it 10, 15 minutes ago where not only was Quinn Sullivan playing some bad passes tonight, but it was multiple players tonight that had played misplaced passes. And so,
Sure.
yes, it's going to be the weak area in Leon Flock's game, but he's going to do a fantastic job protecting that back line. Ideally, you're not going to want your number 6 to play sideways and backwards. You want them to play forward and to the strikers, to the outside 8s. But look, I said it on my show, and I'm perfectly fine with, maybe playing Jack McGlynn a little bit deeper, getting him on the ball to play those balls that Jose Martinez was playing, to play make. You have Kai Wagner obviously on the left. So, I'm totally fine with Leon Flock sitting back there, just protecting that back line, winning the ball back. And you're going to need that against a strong attack of Columbus Crew. And Cucho Hernandez, Diego Rossi, Christian Ramirez, that's a really, really good Crew side. And I think they're a team that we saw do well in tournament football last year under Wilfred Nance, winning MLS Cup. And so they have experience in these type of competitions. And I think I saw the stat that under Wilfred Nance, Columbus have only lost twice at Lower.com Stadium. That's a difficult place to go in and get a result. But look, the Union had never went into TQL Stadium, and they go in and beat FC Cincinnati. So it's possible, and it's going to be a tough game. I think we all know that it's going to be a tough game, but don't get too cute. Jim Curtin says it all the time. They're not going to get overcomplicated and start getting fancy with that lineup. They're going to stick with what they're good with. And yes, not having Todd Rebo, it complicates things a little bit. But look, you know what you have in Leon Flock. You know what you have in your back four. You know what you have in Mikel. You know what you have in Danny. The good thing is you have plenty of depth, even with losing Jose Martinez in the midfield. But at the end of the day, you go with who's going to protect that back line. And Jesus Bueno can do that, but I feel more comfortable with Leon Flock doing that. And hopefully that's what Jim Curtin goes with on this Wednesday night. But look, another thing I'll remind the fans, don't forget last season, the Union were I think 5 minutes away from beating Columbus 1-0, and they gave up a late penalty kick and ultimately draw that game 1-1. So the Union aren't going to be afraid of going into Lower.com field. The Union, I said it on my show, one of the best teams. You can definitely say they're a good team on the road. You can make the argument that they're great. They're 500 in all competitions on the road. It's a really, really good road side. They have 24 league goals in MLS on the road this season. They're going to score goals. And Columbus are a team that's going to play strong, solid defense. But the way that this team's playing, and I know a big part of that this season on the road is Ty Baribo, but they have enough quality still, in my opinion, to go into Lower.com field this Wednesday and come away with the result.
Agreed. Jose, any thoughts on our road warriors that are the Union right now?
Just like Todd, I don't believe in Jesus. No, just kidding. I would go with Flock as well, honestly, in terms of that number 6 spot and figuring out how to better contain. That was a funny. How to contain that Columbus side that's just purring, honestly, how well they've played. And yes, of course, they had to go into penalty kicks against New York City FC to get it done. But nonetheless, that's a team that any given night can put 5-6 goals on a side without much trouble. So it'll be a very tough game. And as Todd mentioned, the road form for this team was unreal in the beginning of the season. Last undefeated team in MLS, if I recall as well, and that also included a lot of traveling as they were getting their West Coast and Central flyover state travel early on in the season. So they know how to do it on the road. If they've been successful to do it on the road, it's just, can they put it together now? Yeah, Jesus, you know what? That gives me an idea. I need to make a phone call to a certain friend to maybe get a little hype video done in case we have a Jesus good. Janice, no, Mbaiza was not discussed during today's press conference.
That's on us.
That's on us. Though, frankly, the way that Nate Harriel played today, a lot of good spots, good situational thinking and playing, but also look no further, and I'll have to post it and maybe an end of the season type of like gag video gif. His clearance today in the first half where he went to clear the ball and it went back to the guy who crossed it. It went completely sideways. So yeah, Mbaizo might be the answer for tournament play, especially the way that he has been playing.
Absolutely. So I'm looking at the stat line from the Columbus New York City game. I don't know if you guys caught the New York City goal. Did you guys see it? It was like one of the fastest goals, whatever.
15 seconds.
16 seconds. They
Unreal.
scored. So I mean, really, so Cucho, whatever is how you pronounce his name, Cucho. Cucho. Thank you. He scored a header in the 41st minute against New York City, and they were scoreless after that. So it's not like they blew them out of the water tonight on that. And New York City FC has had troubles keeping leads, as we've seen so far against both the Crew and Columbus. So for the Crew to struggle against a New York side that's not exactly the most dominant in the world is at home too, gives me some optimism.
Mike, this just came into my head, and you'll love this. You'll appreciate this. You'll want to leave home early or leave from home early, Mike. But there's a world where the Union could be hosting first place or third place against Club America here at Subaru Park. And you remember what that was like and how difficult it was to get here. Because if I recall, you were stuck on a bridge for a good bit. Todd as well.
I got to the bridge like half an hour before the game started, and I didn't park until almost halftime.
Regardless of what happens, if Club America is involved with Philadelphia, and it'll be at Subaru Park in some way, shape, or form, that's going to be a spectacle to see. And frankly, probably guarantee it in a way, a bigger crowd than what Cruz Azul was. It'll be unreal. That just completely popped into my head.
Derek's read my mind. It's still 0-0.
Yeah. So again, there is a world where Club America comes to Subaru Park either for a final or a third place game. So it's exciting to me. That's very, very exciting. Since I missed that game, I was still past Harrisburg at the time. So, God,
right. You missed that game.
Honestly, I would say, I mean, to get to the stadium 3 to 4 hours before kickoff, because that atmosphere for Club America. I mean, I'm sure you remember this, Mike. The bridge behind us, there was fans on the bridge selling jerseys, selling food. The traffic was just at a standstill. And so if that winds up happening, the Union versus Club America, you've got to get here super early. I remember the stadium, there was cops with horses just riding around the parking lots. You had beer bottles thrown everywhere. We had
unfortunate situation after the game where someone was killed as well. So
oh my
crazy.
God, fans storming the field after the game.
Jim Curtin taking people home.
So yeah, I mean, that's a game. If it winds up happening, I would say 3 to 4 hours before kickoff. As much as it might suck waiting around that long, you don't want to miss any of that action.
That's T-Mac. I get that comment. That does not matter. This fan base, much like Cruz Azul, this is a fan base that don't get to go to see Club America.
And you know that by talking to the Cruz Azul fans.
I spoke with the Cruz Azul fans during the game. I sat with them for 45 minutes, and all of them told me it is unbelievable how nice it is to come. I just sounded like Trump. It is unbelievable how nice it was for them to see their club in these states, especially when they can't go back to Mexico as easily as they can get on a train from New York City or DC, etc., to come up and watch a game. So yeah,
Mandy's on the right track. You get there early, you're well fed.
Mandy, you bring the drinks.
That's it. Bring the drinks, and the food's already there.
It's already here.
Vince says America LAFC players better be ready to get assaulted with bottles. That's possibly very true, Vince. T-Max says absolutely still will bring thousands, but just hopeful they'll be playing a lot of their depth players, which we saw last year in the third place game, which got us to the point that we were at this year with CONCACAF.
Mike, I might interrupt you here for a second. I think we may have 2 minutes left.
Okay, 2 minutes left. We'll do final thought then, because honestly, it's already 11:45. Yep. Todd or Jose, you have the mic. Jose has the mic. Jose, any last thoughts on this game and any hopes for Wednesday?
Obviously, I hope Philadelphia does well. It's no secret that I was a fan first before becoming a press member, and I've tried my best to stay as neutral as I can in my reporting, and I think I do a good job of doing so. But it is an exciting time. This Philadelphia Union team has a lot on the line, not just within potentially earning themselves a trophy, but also earning themselves a berth into continental soccer, something that certainly doesn't hurt for recruitment, as well as the players getting more exposure that are already here. So a lot on the line, a team that appreciates that type of soccer, a team that is in dire need of success considering the first half of the season, and exciting regardless. So thank you everybody for watching. I'll turn it over to Todd.
Todd, same question for you.
What was the question?
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
Subaru Park's a beautiful stadium. Mark Mello and his crew do a fantastic job cleaning up the field, making it look nice and pretty. The fans, again, credit to them for just showing out tonight. And yes, the stadium wasn't packed, but like I said at the beginning, these fans know when to get loud. They know what moments are special. They know what moments are important. And yeah, I'm proud of the fans tonight. And Jose Martinez, I'll talk about it more on my show. I'm sure you guys will talk about it if you guys do a show this week. Yep. If not, we'll see. I'm sure Jose or somebody will do a write-up about it. I don't know. It's like,
I've good luck, Mike. This is the second departing player that I've been the final word with. Carranza, Martinez, back to back.
You just stop talking to people at this point. Just quit now.
But yeah, I don't want to get too emotional and everything. But Jose and I talked this week. We come to games every single week, every other week it seems like, and it just gets really, really emotional just being around these players and watching them eventually leave. We're about to be kicked out of here, so yeah, those are our final thoughts.
That's our final thoughts. Listen, guys, great to see you both. Great view of the stadium. Thank you for everybody joining those comments. Before they get arrested, I should cut the show here. This is Across the Pitch. We'll be back Wednesday night, maybe?
Yes.
Go Union. See you.